Hello, Zeb Aurelios from Star Wars Rebels, and you're listening to Inside the Force. Carabas. Gotta go, Hera's here.
It is a period of Star Wars mania, as new movies, comic books, novels, and TV shows populate the system. Fueled by their love and passion for the galaxy far, far away, two exceptional geeks tap into hundreds of holocrons in order to bring you the knowledge and insight of all things Star Wars. Come and join them as they go inside the Force.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Inside the Force. Dave Cottingham here with me, as always. Casey Cooley.
Hello, everybody.
We are 26 days away from...
What's in a month?
The Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi.
Great stuff to talk about on this episode. The biggest thing is obviously the game. Star Wars Battlefront II has dropped. We are going to do a full review of the campaign. So if you haven't gone through the campaign, you might...
Yeah, some of you,
we're
recording this the day the
standard
it
has
edition.
been out.
Yeah.
So we got an early release, which was the Tuesday. But we will be kind of going through our thoughts on the campaign.
Yeah.
Of course, we got some other breaking news to talk about. And then, of course, the mid-season finale of Star Wars Rebels just happened this past week. So we'll get through all that. But again, on the movie side, not really much going on until we get this movie.
Pretty light. Han Solo, they're still in post-production for that. Ron Howard just tweeted out a picture. I actually couldn't quite make out what is even in the picture, but he makes a reference to that the post-production of Han Solo is going very well. So that is happening with that film. Has it been announced? I'm just kind of thinking, too, top of my head. Has it been announced who's scoring the film?
The Han Solo film?
Yeah. Is that announced?
I don't think so.
I was trying to think if they're... Because they haven't done the score yet, but I was just wondering who actually is scoring it, but I don't know. So Solo is fast approaching, but yes, we are all anticipating, very eagerly awaiting Last Jedi, and there's no news for it. It's just more TV spots are coming out left and right now. It seems like the most recent one has a little bit of extra dialogue between Luke and Rey, but I'm staying away from actually watching it. Honestly, I know the TV spots won't be too revealing, honestly, so that's kind of why, honestly, I'm not even worried about watching it because I know I'm not missing out on anything. So it's just, I don't need to see the TV spots, so that's why I'm really not watching them too often. So I kind of rely on Dave here to let me know if it's too spoilery or anything like that, but no, they're pretty good so far.
Yeah, I've been... I'm not seeking out the spots,
Yeah, exactly.
But if I see it, I see it. I mean, I watch, I watch a lot of football, and usually they've been running a lot of the stuff on football during football season. So, but I'm not too worried. TV spots, look, I'm pretty sure they're only going to reveal what they want you to see. Yeah. They're not going to give nothing's given away really, especially in this. I mean. So,
yeah, I'm just expecting to be completely surprised.
Yeah, well, I definitely. I mean, leading up to, it's definitely that week. I think I saw a tweet from one of our guests that we've had on here, Chris Gore. I saw a tweet from him yesterday. It said he said something like decisions because he took a picture of an invite he got to the early screening of The Last Jedi, and it said you and a guest. So he was like, "Who am I going to bring?"
Yeah.
But that screening was December 10th, which is that Monday.
Oh, yeah.
Right. 11, 12. No, that's Sunday.
Yeah.
Sunday.
One's come out on the 15th.
Because it's the 15th of Friday. So that's the 10th is a Sunday. Well, the 10th is my birthday. Which is a Sunday this year. I didn't even know it was a Sunday this year. Anyway, so December 10th, that Sunday. So that week, I'm not even looking at social media.
I know.
I'm out because people are going to start talking about it, because they're going to see it that week.
Yeah.
Because I think the premiere that might be the premiere, the worldwide premiere in a way. And
what happened last time with Russell about being spoiled? I can't take any risks.
Yeah,
It's gonna be hard.
I'm telling you, that would have been rough. So not going to watch. Not going to look at social media for any. I'm not going to read any reviews. I'm not going to do anything of that. I'm just going to go in because there's going to definitely be some reveals, I think, in this thing. So, and then like you said, Solo is still
Those are the only two movies
coming
right now. I mean, we've been told about Kenobi, but obviously nothing's happening with that we know of. So, focusing on Last Jedi, then quickly after that, Solo.
That's right.
And episode 9.
Yep.
Hopefully, I wonder what J.J. Abrams is doing right now for episode 9. I just want to know those conversations.
Probably writing it, I guess.
Very excited. So, that's pretty much all the movie related stuff.
Yeah. And of course, we got Star Wars Rebels that just aired its mid-season finale. Mm-hmm. Called Rebel Assault this past week, Monday night, and basically centers around the Imperial occupation still of Lothal and the rebels finally arriving to help save the Ghost crew that's stuck on Lothal, basically, as well as attack the
military installation over there, the training facility or whatever it is.
It's a TIE factory, right?
TIE Defenders, I think, over there. Yeah.
So Hera's leading that. This is the first time we see the X-Wings.
Yeah.
So, which kind of upset me a little bit that we didn't see where they got them.
Yeah.
Like we never found out where, because I thought they were going to be some reveal that they got them somewhere. Because where did they get them at? Yeah. I mean, all of a sudden,
maybe it wasn't a big deal. I don't know.
I guess not like the Y-Wings, I guess, because they got a bunch of Y-Wings.
B-Wings, too.
B-Wings. Now, obviously, I guess they already had the A-Wings.
Mm-hmm.
But the X-Wings, that's probably the most iconic starship besides the Falcon, especially in the Rebel Alliance. And we didn't see where they got them. They show up and get them, or show up with. I was waiting to see. I guess I was kind of waiting to see if there was like, I can't remember his name, but Red Leader.
Yeah, I was looking for those guys too.
Blue Leader, and stuff like that. But I guess they're doing something else, or not part of the rebellion yet, or maybe I don't know. But what'd you think? What'd you think of this?
It was good. I mean, it ended short. I mean, not shorter necessarily, but it ended with a cliffhanger I didn't expect. I mean, it reminded me a lot of the. I guess it was also the season 1 mid-season finale where Kanan was kidnapped by Tarkin or Callus and taking the Tarkin, something like that. I think was that first season.
Yes,
but
I think so.
I was thinking of that, but it's also just it ended so abruptly for me, and the whole episode was good. Overall, it was pretty cool. Hera had a lot of great moments, and it was really, really her episode, her time to shine. But other than that, I hate to say that was underwhelming, but it just maybe it's just this whole first half of the season. It's the last season, season 4, and I guess I'm just expecting every episode to have such a huge impact and be like really epic,
right?
And like these crazy big reveals in each one because it's the last season. But nothing like that's really happened so far. We've gotten little nuggets along all these episodes of Kanan. Kind of, it seems like he's slowly getting readings of the Force is like telling him something, like leading him in a certain direction. Like he's not quite making out, but he feels like something's wrong with the Force. He feels a disturbance somehow. But and even when he it's something to do with this Lothwolf as well. Like I feel like there's a lot of little nuggets being laid out right now, especially in this episode that we just had, where he's rushing to go save Hera, and he sees the Lothwolf in his path when he's on that speeder, and it makes him veer off a little bit. But so I'm really looking forward to that. It's kind of the next half of the season. But no, this was a good episode. Thrawn was cool. It just wasn't. I guess I was expecting more, but it's still a good episode. It was still pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. I not sure what they're going to do with Kanan, except that I feel like more and more that I feel like we're going to lose him this season.
It's kind of setting us up for that almost. Yeah. It's putting a lot of emphasis on him.
On him.
Yeah, just his feelings with Hera, his Force, his communications with the Force, and the Oath Wolf talking about Doom, which is his name, but Doom also could be the actual word Doom. So that might be it for Kanan. That would be sad.
Yeah, and then you got this whole thing about is it truly true, I guess, that Luke, by the time Yoda passes, is the last Jedi.
Right.
It's like, if that's really true, and then especially this movie, The Last Jedi, like,
yeah, and that's a thing. It's because we've had that discussion before regarding like Ahsoka. Before her appearance in Rebels, we kept thinking like, oh, she's still out there,
but she's not a Jedi though.
Yeah, she's not a Jedi. But how does Yoda know if Luke is the last Jedi? We know from the Vader comics that some Jedi survived Order 66.
Correct.
But I guess they'll be killed off eventually.
I know.
So how does Yoda know if he's truly the last Jedi? Well, to me, that's kind of answered because from tying into from a certain point of view, which we'll talk about in a later episode, but Yoda, it seems like he does. He just, the Force tells him. He just knows. He really does know what's going on in the galaxy. Even though it's on Dagobah, he still knows about what's happening pretty much everywhere. Because his story, from a certain point of view, talks about how he already knows about Leia and Luke, and he knows he knows how they're doing currently. Even though he doesn't see them. So I think Yoda does know when he says Luke is the last Jedi that he knows for a fact that Luke is the last Jedi.
Yeah.
So Kanan's not around.
Yeah.
Something's wrong with Ezra. He's either not around or not a Jedi. I don't know. So
yeah, because you notice too in Episode 3 when Order 66 does go down. I mean, Yoda knows something's wrong.
Yeah,
I mean, he knows. People are starting to get killed off. So it's like
he feels it.
He definitely. I definitely think when he says that, I got to believe that he knows that Luke is the last Jedi, meaning that Kanan at some point isn't around, and then Ezra at some point. Whether or not that happens during the season, I think Kanan, but I don't know about Ezra.
Yeah,
maybe. It could be to the point where it gets to. Excuse me. That this whole story arc. It seems like they're trying to liberate Lothal, and maybe that when that's done, Ezra feels like he's done. Like that was his mission, and he just goes to live there, and
gives up on the Jedi. Gives it. Kanan dies. He's like, well, there's no point.
Yeah, I mean that's I hate to, or he ends up being Benicio del Toro. I don't.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know.
I want to be called DJ from now on.
Yeah. I don't know. Of course, that's a rumor out there, but
that's hilarious.
But overall, I'm with you. A little, I expected a little bit more of, especially more of a. Even though it was a cliffhanger that Hera got captured, but it wasn't really that much of a cliffhanger. Where
it didn't feel a sense of using the word doom. I didn't feel a sense of like, oh my gosh, they're in trouble.
Yeah.
How's she gonna get out of this? She'll get out of it.
But. Hopefully
because now we know she survives.
She does survive
for the next 4 or 5 years.
It actually would have been more dramatic if it would have been Sabine or somebody.
Yeah,
because you don't know about Sabine and you don't know about Zeb. But Hera and Chopper at least survive Endor.
Well, that's the thing too. Chopper, like, she had to replace his dish on his head.
Dish,
like, well, eventually she has to put the other one back. Right?
Yeah, I know, right?
It doesn't quite match up.
Well, yeah, because in Rogue One.
Yeah, he's all back to normal. So you gotta get that fixed.
So All good stuff there. Rebels will be back not until something like mid-February.
Really? I was wondering if it was
it was going to be a long hiatus.
Gosh, why did they have to do 2-parters every single week?
I know. That I didn't understand.
Yeah.
I did not understand that. I thought they would push through December.
They could have.
I know.
It's like, what, 8 episodes already? Is that how much?
It was...
How many would we have?
No, it was 9.
9 episodes? Yeah, you could have 9
you had
weeks.
4 weeks of doubles. And then you had this last one. You had 9. Because I think there's 11 left, which would push it to 20. I think it was 11.
That's cool.
So anyway, big hiatus there. Mm-hmm. We'll let you know as soon as we get, as soon as I guess it gets released. There's a release date for the next season, next half of the season. But just some minor news before we get to the game. Big thing that was somewhat announced today, which was the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, which is the name technically right now of the site that's going to be at Disneyland and Disney World, the site of the Star Wars land in the sense, right? Mm-hmm. They're calling it Galaxy's Edge, but today they revealed, because it was rumored that this was actually going to be a canon spaceport, on a planet. It's described as a thriving port for smugglers, rogue traders, and adventurers. So now, though, it has been revealed today on Store Tours when they opened it up today for brand new content. The new planet was revealed, and it is introduced as Batu.
That's how I'm saying it.
Batu.
Batu. Battuu. So Batu is the location of the upcoming Star Wars themed land, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge.
And you can get on StarWars.com and check out kind of a new rendering photo of it with an approaching shuttle, it looks like. But basically it's described as this remote outpost on the Galaxy's Edge was once a busy crossroads along the old sublight trade routes, but its prominence was bypassed by the rise of hyperspace travel. Now, home to those who prefer to stay out of the mainstream, it has become a thriving port for smugglers, rogue traders, and adventurers traveling between the frontier and uncharted space. It's also a convenient safe haven for those intent on avoiding the expanding reach of the First Order. So it's in that time.
Current, like almost
pretty much current, I guess.
Yeah.
While Batu may be new to us, it is clearly already familiar to many characters from the Star Wars saga as a stepping off point for epic adventures. So there you go. It's basically a place in the far reaches, outside of kind of the main hub. It wouldn't say outer rim necessarily, because I think if you look at the map, the outer rim is more on the kind of the east side of the galaxy, and then there's the unknown regions up in the west side, and it sounds like it's up more towards that space. So anyway, Batu will be able to check that out in 2019, which I will be checking that out in 2019 because cannot wait to go and live there.
Yeah, I know. Better save up, man.
Yep. So that's awesome. Pretty cool. And they got a video in the article that you can actually, that they released a while ago. It's still, you can do the fly through of the space of the model. All right. So, really, other than that, I think we can move on to Battlefront.
Let's do it.
So, Battlefront 2 dropped on Tuesday if you bought the pre-release or pre-ordered it.
The deluxe edition.
The deluxe edition. So, you know, you and Cody had jumped into the multiplayer for a little bit, right?
Yeah, briefly. I think the first night we did some multiplayer.
Yeah, I did. I dove right in the campaign. I was like, I got to know this story.
Yeah.
Now, for those of you, again, this is going to be, if you don't want to know anything about the campaign. This is completely spoilery. So be prepared. But for those of you that haven't done it either, if you go back and read the book, Inferno Squad, that came out over the summer by Christy Golden, you get obviously a more clear understanding of the beginnings of Inferno Squad. So a real short brief of Inferno Squad is in the book. It was made up of 4 characters.
Right.
Iden, Miko, Hask, and I failed to remember her name, but
oh yeah,
if you mention it, I would know, but I can't remember. Starts with an S, I think. But anyway, so obviously, I'm not going to tell you how, but she's not around because this game only has 3 of them.
Yeah.
So, but that book, with the great thing about that book, I thought, even though I have my problems with it, but the great thing about that book is it really the story centers around Inferno Squad, which is formed after the first Death Star is destroyed.
Yeah,
and their function is to obviously kill and destroy rebels, but their first true mission in that book is to eliminate the partisans of Saul Guerrera, the last remaining partisans, really the last group, because Saul had. This is after Rogue One, so Saul has passed away. But it's their job to go around and get rid of the partisans. So that's kind of the quick backstory of that book, and then we kind of fast forward to the beginning of this game, which takes place right before the Battle of Endor. So before we go break down fully everything case, just kind of, I guess, a summary or overall review of, well, mainly, how surprised were you or not about the story?
I mean,
of it.
I feel like I have surprisingly a lot more to say than I thought I would. The story took a turn that I did not expect at all. Not to say like there was a lot of crazy huge reveals, but like, I mean, again, this is all spoilers, but I had no idea she was going to turn to be a rebel.
I didn't either.
And honestly, when it first happened, I was thinking like, I kind of hope that she is tricking everybody, because I don't know if I like it, because I just thought the whole point of her character was that she's so steadfast Imperial, which I guess makes for a better turn, because such a apologetic person for...
Well, she is of the Empire she thought it was.
Exactly. Because reading Battlefront II, the book, like, her mission was to go and kill these rebels, and by going undercover as one of them, but again, she was
the partisans.
So she was going after the extremist side of it. Mm-hmm. She wasn't going after what we know from the movies, which maybe that would be
the rebellion.
Yeah, that'd be a different story. Maybe she went undercover as one of them. Maybe she would have been converted. Maybe, I don't know.
Very true.
Yeah, it's totally surprised. And I was thinking like maybe she's gonna trick them all later. Maybe her and Dell will kind of turn back or something like that. I don't know, but didn't expect that. But it was really cool. I didn't know exactly where the story would end. Also, I kind of just assumed that it would take you through all 30 years, which it kind of did towards the end. But I thought we would see Iden throughout all the whole gap between 6 and 7. But it ended with Jakku, which I didn't expect we would see the Battle of Jakku. I mean, I just didn't read too much about the game. I don't know if that was already kind of out there, where the different battles and events we would see. But I kind of stayed away from it. Didn't really seek it out. So I didn't expect to see the Battle of Jakku. Didn't expect to see so much of Aftermath, honestly. It was just the events that happened in Aftermath been
very
referenced and talked about, like Operation Cinder and Gallius Rax was mentioned a lot.
I know.
I knew the Sentinels was there because of the trailer, but even like when we were on Jakku, you heard reference to Snap. I heard Snap over the his name said over the comms.
Yep.
Sloan, Vice Admiral Sloan, heard her name. So
Yeah.
it's cool. Like I just love I love seeing the events of a book. You know, it's different for a movie, but like a book that had no visual interpretation being brought into this game in some forms, and Han trying to find a way to get to find Chewie, get to Sheik, and help them all out there. So basically setting up life debt in that sense. So
Yep.
That's really exciting. I was really excited playing this game. I miss playing campaigns of Star Wars, and it just made me want more because I haven't played a Star Wars campaign in so long. I think probably Force Unleashed probably was the last one. I guess that was the last really legit Star Wars game. Before that was Knights of the Old Republic, and I love that. But it ended with a good little cliffhanger. And we'll get more with the DLCs coming out in early December, December 13th. But especially with that last little bit, that kind of post-credit, scene almost you want to say is, it was great. It was really great. I loved it.
Wait, was there a post-credit scene?
Not post-credit, but like just the after.
The 30 years later.
30 years later, decades later kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm definitely on board with wanting more of these campaign games.
Oh, yes.
Like I don't need you to give me. To be honest, I don't need you to give me a game with a multiplayer mode.
Yeah,
I want these campaigns. I mean, this is proven that you can make, a canon storyline and be able to play a game that still entertains you as you just go through the story. Very similar to Force Unleashed. And obviously the cutscenes are just awesome, great detail. This is just so well done. So Battlefront, though, it's like I wanted to kind of go through what surprised me most about each of these locations So you start off on. I want to go through all these. So you start on what's called the Invincible Faith, which is the rebel ship that. At the time, you think Iden's caught, but she has given herself up. And in order to, your first mission basically is to erase the location of the Imperial Navy.
Yeah.
Because they're setting up the, what they think is the destruction of rebellion at the battle at Endor, right? They're trying to hide the fact that, because you remember Mon Mothma is like, with the Imperial fleet scattered across the galaxy, it's like, that wasn't true.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So obviously you do the Battle of Endor, which I thought was pretty neat because, it made it seem like in the early trailers of the game that Inferno Squad was kind of always on the ground because they're helping, they're shooting all these rebels. Yeah. But in fact, it wasn't the case. It was kind of the opposite where they were just hanging out waiting for this thing to end, but all of a sudden, the Super Star Destroyer, the Executor gets destroyed. And I loved how he said, "Piet, you fool."
Yeah, I know. I love that.
It's like,
yeah.
That was Admiral Versio. And so he says, notify Inferno Squad. So at this point, the shield generator is destroyed. And you go down on the planet of Endor. And you're trying to hunt rebels, and all of a sudden, Death Star explodes. I mean, that is just, again, you get, from a certain point of view, it's like, the perspective of where somebody from the Empire is whenever that thing explodes. It's like, and that's just the second time they've seen it happen.
I know. Oh, dang it.
Now,
Nice.
And also a little quick backstory from the book, the Battle of Yavin, Iden was in a TIE fighter.
Right.
When the first Death Star got destroyed, she luckily was following a rebel X-wing that was fleeing because Luke was about to fire, and so she actually her TIE gets damaged and she crash lands on Yavin. So she has to kind of make her way out through Yavin while the rebels are there still. But anyway, that was a pretty cool tie-in. So then all of a sudden she's seeing the second Death Star exploding. It's like, what the
bad luck.
But like you mentioned, Operation Cinder is announced, which was in Aftermath, and I guess for those that explained what what
What it is?
Cinder is, and then of course the what the Emperor had, because we found out in Aftermath what he had.
Yeah, the Aftermath was like the ultimate plan for Operation Cinder, but kind of leading up to that moment, basically Operation Cinder is just, if the Empire's going down, destroy everything.
Right.
So once the Death Star 2 blew up and the Emperor was killed, all of his Sentinels gave messages to admirals and I guess mobs maybe also, but throughout the galaxy, it's saying like to destroy certain Imperial planets. Basically, get rid of all the evidence, get rid of everything, start over from scratch. So the plan was to destroy what was left of the government. So destroy yourselves. Take only, and this wasn't in the game, but this is in Aftermath. Excuse me. Take the best of the best of admirals and mobs, whatever, make this, it's like a little council. Take the best of the best. Take the remaining ships, take remaining, soldiers, whatever. Go to the unknown regions of space and rebuild from there into a better and new and better empire, basically. And that was what Gallius Rax his task was to get these people, get Hux, try to get Sloane involved with it, get all these other people. And blow up everything, all the observatory planets that Emperor had. So Jakku, like Apilia, we found out in the game was one of them. Get rid of all of it, escape, come back, stronger, better than ever. So yeah, Cinder, meaning burning everything down basically, and starting over. So we kind of said in the Battlefront 2 game, we kind of saw the early stages of Operation Cinder. They've got these big satellite kind of things to rain hellfire down basically on these Imperial planets. So we saw that happening kind of on Naboo and Vardos. Mm-hmm. It was quite awesome. And like I loved in the game the whole stuff on Pilio with Del and Luke.
Yes. So
that was surprising and
very surprising.
Awesome.
That was the big first surprise for me. Because you're right, you're in this game you're responsible for going and getting the satellites that they're using to kind of destroy these planets. I mean, they're not destroying. It's not like a Death Star where they're destroying it. They're just kind of destroying the atmosphere and the surface and all this stuff,
burning it
basically to the ground.
Yeah.
So there is a thing where you learn that the Emperor, as we learned in Aftermath, has these bunkers all over the place and basically contains, all kinds of stuff.
Mostly it's like all these artifacts.
Mostly it's just junk. Yeah. This is artifacts, Sith artifacts, Jedi artifacts. So, you get tasked, Del gets tasked to go and to destroy this bunker on Pilio. And as he's approaching the shuttle, it pans over and all of a sudden there's Luke standing there.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking right when I saw it, I was like, man, I want to fight Luke.
Yeah, I know.
But you actually play as Luke.
That was a great surprise for this game.
Yes.
Playing as not just him, but all the other original characters.
Yes.
Awesome.
So Luke, you kind of have to team up with Del. And because this planet's got a bunch of bugs on it, remind me of Starship Troopers almost.
Yeah, that's right.
And so you're fighting all these bugs and you end up helping him get into the bunker. And I love the conversation that he has with
it's
Del.
great.
Like, I was getting chills.
Yeah.
Because Del, obviously he's questioning, just like kind of Iden is a little bit now because, well, not yet. I think the next scene was Vardos. So, but
he had definitely a moment.
But he had a moment where he was like, as soon as Luke saved him, he was like, I know who you are. I know the Jedi. I had all these nightmares and all that stuff, because they were getting told lies.
Yeah.
And so when they get into the bunker, Luke finds a compass.
That's awesome. That was so cool.
Which I guess points him to Octu.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And incredible. It's, it's just, I just love the conversation because, like, before, like, he's like, why did you help me? And he's like, you asked.
I know. His responses were perfect.
Yeah. And then later on, he's like, why would I let you? He's like, I'm going to keep this compass. He goes, why would I let you do that? Because I asked.
Yeah. Okay.
And he's like, true. You're right. Because I asked before, now you're asking, so I get it. So they're walking out of this thing, and I love it. Luke's like, I'm glad the Force brought us together. And the guy's like, and Del says, what do we do now? He's like, do we just go our separate ways and act like this never happened? And he's like, and Luke says, no.
Like you have a choice,
You
right?
have a choice. And he's like, look, I know.
I'm not blind.
Yeah, I'm not blind to what the Empire's doing, but what well, he says, what other choice do I have?
Yeah.
And he's like, he says, you have a choice. And he says, what, the rebellion?
Yeah.
He says, no.
Yeah.
To be better.
Good response, Luke.
Yes.
Good job, man.
And I was like, I was just like, Del, I was like, wow, that's a great response.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't expect that.
And because you said that, I will join the rebellion.
Exactly.
Such a good salesman there.
So, but this also clearly shows, because this is before the Battle of Jakku, so this, I think this was like 6 months later or something like that. No, I'm sorry, it wasn't 6 months later. It's just shortly after Jedi.
Yeah.
Because 6 months later is after they joined the rebellion. But so this is only a few weeks after Return, and yeah, you already see that Luke is wandering around trying to figure out what he's supposed to do, and where he's going. And
I liked it that we got a sense of that he is stronger, because we just did our Jedi commentary. We're calling it Return now. Our Return commentary.
Return, yeah.
And talking about, the progression of Luke's powers and his abilities in the Force. And we don't see a lot of it, honestly.
No.
Or, in this game, we don't see a whole lot of it, but like little things where how he saved Del from the rocks about to fall on him, and he stopped it with the Force and moved him over. It's like, stuff like that. It's like, well, we know he's learned more.
I know,
obviously.
because I was trying to think, did we, besides Force choking, did we see him use the Force?
Moving the lightsaber, just like pulling the lightsaber out of the snow and
he lifted
the X-wing a little bit, and
3PO.
3PO, moved 3PO around. That's right. So, but
So
he's always like closing his eyes and really concentrating, which he kind of did in this game as well. But
yeah,
that
was awesome.
I did this awesome. I just love seeing that, like seeing, okay, we saw a little bit more with Luke, a little bit more of his powers and all that stuff, and and opening the door to the observatory, and that led to a really interesting fact, which I'm pretty sure we've talked about it. Is the question is, who knows that the Emperor is Sith? No one knows.
Nobody.
Because Del was like, "Wait, are you suggesting that the guy who built this was one of you or something like that?"
Yes.
It's like, no, I'm just saying that you shouldn't have been afraid of Jedi or something like that, right?
Well, he says you were afraid of the wrong.
Yeah, afraid of the wrong. Exactly.
The wrong things.
So again, good response. Not saying, Palpatine is a Sith. You were lied to. He could have easily said that, but no.
Well, I don't even know if Luke. Well, how would he know he's a Sith?
Well,
unless he's told him.
He knows he uses the Force because of
he's a Force
user. So,
but no one said Sith unless he looked in a holocron or something like that. I guess I don't know, but
yeah.
But yes, very great. It's just a great conversation between the two. So we end up going to Vardos next, which is the home planet of Iden, Versio, and if you didn't get it, I said Admiral Versio, so that's her father. He's the admiral on the Star Destroyer. What was the name of that thing?
E or the I Inflictus or something like that, or
I can't.
EXX something. I have to look this up.
Disruptor? No,
I'll find it.
I can't remember. Anyway, they and the Corvus is their ship.
Yes,
the Raider, the Imperial Raider that they have headquarters of Inferno Squad. So anyway, they go to Vardos and they realize that Vardos is one of the planets that they're going to, destroy. And she approaches the admiral, and that was a good conversation. That was
Eviscerator.
New
start with an E.
Yeah,
Eviscerator. But
that was a great conversation because she says, this is our home, and he's like, the Empire is our home. It's like, we're gonna do what the Emperor commands, even though it's not like, like she said, he's dead. Why would I take orders from a dead man?
Yeah, that was the first sign of Iden's thing, where I was even going like, "Oh, Iden, what are you doing? What are you saying?"
Yeah,
like that's not good for you to say, but. It's weird that I'm kind of taking sides of an Imperial.
Well, the fact that he's willing to destroy his homeworld.
Yeah.
for somebody that is not around anymore.
That's a good point. He's not dead. Like you don't have to listen to him anymore.
Yeah.
No one's going to do anything about it.
So their mission though is to go down and save Gleb, which Gleb was in. I think she was in the book as well. She was a person that helped raise her and train her a little bit. So you and the Furnace West supposed to go down there and extract her, and just her. So they go down there and they show up. Well, then there's a whole group of people, and they want to help them leave. But Hask, basically not turns on them, but says, this is not our order, and basically thinks that they're committing treason by disobeying Admiral Versio.
Yeah.
And of course
that's the turning point.
That's the turning point. Now, again, they escape, and I remember it was great. They're sitting in. I love how they're sitting on these crates, looking out in the outer rim. They're out in the outer rim, and just this great view, and they're talking about what to do next. Then they give themselves up. They surrender to the rebellion, and at this point, they're just thinking, "Okay, we're just going to tell them intelligence. Talk to them about where places are, what the Empire's doing." But then all of a sudden, the general that walks in is General Calrissian.
That's Billy D is the voice, right?
I'm pretty sure it is. It sounds like I think he does everything. Lando.
Yeah, Lando. I mean, it was nailed it.
It was just nailed.
So easy to slip back into that.
I wonder how
role.
Donald Glover is going to sound.
Oh my gosh!
You know what I mean?
I'm almost just trying not to think. I mean, I'm sure it'll be great, but I'm trying not to think about it too much. I'm so worried. I'm so nervous about it. Yeah.
But another kind of surprise to me, honestly, was the next mission, which was to Naboo.
Yes.
Like I did not expect that. And then you play as General Princess Leia. So you are then now fully in the rebellion. You and Del, and you're there to help support Leia. Leia's mentioning the Queen did this and stuff like that.
That's a thing too. Like, when does this take place in regard to Shattered Empire? That's what I was talking to Cody about. Because Leia goes on Naboo in Shattered Empire, right?
No,
is that
that's her
comic?
Her comic.
Okay.
I think it's her comic. Where she sees she's a picture of.
That's after A New Hope. Right?
That's after A New Hope.
Okay.
So she doesn't still know. I don't think.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
She didn't know.
But
that still was awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, awesome part. I thought she sounded a lot like Carrie Fisher.
That was good.
I don't think it was her. Obviously, it wasn't her. Maybe
Catherine. Who does Catherine Tabor? Who did?
She did Padme.
Okay. I can't remember who did her from Rebels.
I don't either. So you do Naboo, and then you get asked to go. So then it kind of time jumps a little bit. That's where it kind of jumps a few months, and you then get recruited by Senator Organa to go find Han Solo on Takodana.
She's always finding people to find Han Solo. Seems like.
So now we're getting into, like you said, the life debt time frame where he's trying to get intelligence about Kashyyyk, wants to go help liberate Kashyyyk. I wish you could have seen or been with Chewbacca a little bit more, but he was kind of waiting at the Falcon.
I didn't see him, honestly.
I saw him standing. He was standing on top of the Falcon, and that was it. Then you go to a couple other places you recognize Bespin, which you basically destroy a bunch of stuff there.
Those creatures floating.
That was... What the heck was that?
Those things, I guess, make the gas?
I think they do. That's what they kind of explained.
That was kind of terrifying.
They were, massive.
What?
They're just floating around the clouds in Bespin.
Yeah.
I mean...
That's pretty freaky.
Yes. Because at first I saw them, I'm like, oh, there's like big balloons?
Yeah.
I'm like, what the heck is that? And then they started talking about it, and I'm like, what are they doing? Like, what? Who? Like, what the heck?
Anyway, that was wild.
Then you go to Solist as Calrissian.
That was fun.
That was really cool.
His little
Yeah.
Duros friend.
Yeah, yes.
Shriv.
Yeah, Skira,
Shriv. Something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
He's awesome. I like that
He's
character.
awesome. So
Pretty fun.
and it's funny. Well, I forgot to mention you actually play as Han Solo on Takadana. But yeah, so you now play it as Luke, Leia, Han, Lando, and then it gets to the ultimate battle, which is the Battle of Jakku. Mm-hmm. Now, the first Battlefront game kind of had the Battle of Jakku, had the game part where you can actually be on that map. Mm-hmm. I remember you can look up and you can see kind of stuff that's happening.
I saw some dogfights.
But in this game, I mean, it looked 10 times worse.
Yeah.
It looked like what was more described in Aftermath.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, there's just ships everywhere. Mm-hmm. And there's TIE fighters were like fireflies, just like all over the sky at some point. I mean, I found myself just looking around, not even playing.
Yeah.
Incredible detail of
Star
this
Destroyers
game.
Crashing, falling all around you.
So you don't crash. You land a couple times to help some people on the ground. Mm-hmm. So, but in the end, you shoot down Hask. It's in a TIE
Interceptor?
Is it Interceptor? Yeah. And then you try to survive. You try to free your father. He doesn't want to hear.
That was a good moment.
Yeah, it was a good moment. It was a good moment.
Yeah.
So anyway, the end is the end of Jakku, basically.
Mm-hmm. Nice kiss on the sunset as Star Destroyers are crashing around them.
Yeah, so Del and Iden end up together.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, it says decades later.
Yeah.
And Kylo's shuttle approaches Pelio again.
Yeah.
And you find out that they've captured Del aboard the Corvus still. The Corvus still is there.
Yeah, why is the Corvus there? That's the big question.
I don't know.
He was helping Luke for
something?
So
he was there, yeah, I guess, because Kylo walks up and says, "Where's the map?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the heck? Inferno Squad.
Well, Laura Santeca and all that stuff. Like where?
So he finds out that Laura Santeca is the one that has it. But he doesn't say that he knows where his location is. He just knows
he gave him some location at the end there, but it wasn't Jakku. He said some place.
Oh, really?
I don't know, but I don't know if it was a lie or not. So, because then Kylo's like, okay, I'm done. I have what I need. Yeah, I'm done with them. Mm-hmm.
And Hask shows up again 30 years later.
Yeah.
Which makes you wonder. I mean, he could show up in a movie.
Paul Blackthorne could show up
exactly.
in Last Jedi.
Because it looks just like him. I mean, that's him.
That'd be so cool.
I thought about that. I was like, gosh. Oh, man. I wonder if he's going to do that.
I mean, they might kill in this DLC. They might kill him. Who knows? DLC expands it.
So we get into the end of this thing where it's like it just ends, and it ends kind of on a major cliffhanger, like because
going after Iden.
She says because Gleb is there, and Gleb is like because he says the Corvus don't he's like because he's like dispose of Del's body, but leave the Corvus there, and she's like it's gonna bring her straight to us or whatever, and he's like I'm counting on it. So he's anticipating Iden coming there looking for Del probably, so he's just gonna hang out until that happens, I guess. But I don't know what did you satisfied with the way it ended though?
Yeah, I forgot or didn't know, I can't remember that there was gonna be DLC. Because I was thinking like, are they gonna make Battlefront 3 like a direct sequel to this game? So it sounds like we're just gonna get more chapters as DLCs. But it was awesome. I loved it. And one big kind of question that remains is, who is Iden's daughter? Do you remember that? They referenced that. Iden and Del had a daughter. Kylo talked about it.
Yeah, I knew they had kids. I didn't know they actually said. Is it kids or just a kid?
I heard one kid, daughter.
A daughter?
That's Kylo mentioned.
Really?
So I was like,
Oh, jeez.
I'm surprised no one has yet done the crazy rumor that Iden is Rey's mom.
Yeah. I don't see that.
I don't see it's possible. Well, I mean, it's
possible.
possible, but I don't see it happening. So that's a random little piece of nugget you throw in there. Like they have a kid together, so we're gonna see her later in the DLCs or what. But I mean, yeah, Aiden's out there too, so it's pretty cool that they made him survive this long. But Dell, so as we know, Dell was killed.
Right.
Yeah.
Dell's dead.
Was sad because I actually really liked Dell.
I liked him too. Yeah, but it makes you wonder. Yeah, where was he doing there? Why was he there? You know, did they destroy the bunker? You know, Luke at this point is on Oct 2, I guess. You know, so yeah, he is because they're looking for him. Yeah, so honestly, it left so many questions. That's the biggest thing I think. Somebody, I think might have been Cody. I think they finished it also. He's like, I just feel like it. You know, I walked away with more questions that I had going into it. You know, it's like,
yeah, I had no idea they were going to make so many connections and take the story that much involved with what happened in Force Awakens. You know, so it's very surprising.
So I loved it. I think I just started playing the campaign actually a little bit tonight, or not the campaign, but the multiplayer, which takes some getting used to. Yeah, I'm so used to the first one.
Yeah,
but no, this campaign was fantastic. I actually want to do the campaign again. But you could actually go on YouTube now already. People are already listing all the cutscenes. Yeah. So if you really just want to follow along the cutscene storyline, you can do that. It's actually worth a watch. It's pretty good.
I was trying to look to see if anybody's posted like all these Easter eggs that you might have missed throughout the game, and no one's really done it yet. Because
I haven't seen it yet.
You know, as I was playing it, the campaign, I was trying to look around a lot to see like, oh, maybe there's some little piece of canon somewhere hidden around. Like when you're walking through the Rebel ship with Lando, he's like giving you a tour, leading you through. You walk through this little room, and off to the side are these rebels meeting around a table talking about something.
Yeah.
And then you kind of look at it, maybe walk a little bit closer to it, and the door just shuts. You know, and I went back to that mission just today to see if I can see what they're looking at around the table, what hologram that is, and I think it's a ship. You can't really tell. But I was thinking like maybe they're looking at somebody that's like pretty cool, revealing. Or like in the very beginning of the game when you're just getting out of the cell, there's a guy in the cell next to you. And while you're in it, I remember the rebel guard was talking to this other prisoner. And so as I was leaving as Aiden, I looked in the cell to see if I can see who that is, and you can't see his face. He's like on his knees, his head's down, so you can't tell who this other prisoner is. Because I was thinking, like, maybe it's like maybe it's Thrawn or something's in there. I don't know. Like that's where he's been this whole time. He's been in Rebel prison.
That's true.
So I can't see it, so I can't say who it is.
That's awesome, though. It's awesome.
Yeah, great game. Great campaign. I wish it was longer. I want more, but we'll be getting more eventually. But
okay. So is that how they are going to extend the campaign through?
Sounds like it.
Download?
I don't know how much they're doing. They're doing some more chapters.
Because I almost felt like it was either going to have to be in a book or a comic to finish the story. Because I saw some on social media, some people tweeting that. Looks like my vote is a Aiden comic series, takes place then, and all that stuff. So I don't know.
I'm sure they'll do something that takes place in between the 6 and 7 timeline.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of cool.
All right. Before we wrap this up, just one quick thing I wanted to mention. One of our listeners on Twitter, longtime listener and fan of ours. He goes by NZ Tiger, NZ Ranger. He mentioned he has an interesting question on here that I thought was really neat. But he mentions basically that the other day after Disney announced the new trilogy, this is after we did our last episode, I had this weird, oh my God, I don't want to die fear of missing out on the movies. Rather strange, something I've never thought of. But I'll be 50 in 10 years, so particularly no reason to be thinking like that. But has it ever crossed your mind in the sense of having what was the
fear of missing out.
Fear of missing out for these new films. FOMO. Fear of missing out of these new films.
Was that a Twitter question?
Yeah.
Man, 280 characters, really?
Well, as a direct,
direct message. Oh, okay.
Do you have? There's
think
no length on those. I don't think. Anyway,
yeah, that's actually a good question.
You have a fear of missing out of all this stuff?
Honestly, I have felt like in the past, I have thought that of not just Star Wars, but of other awesome movies that are kind of coming out. It's like, gosh, it's such a good time to be a Star Wars fan. Like, I really hope, I exactly what he said. Like, I hope I stay alive so I can see these movies. Otherwise, I'll be kind of out of the game.
Yeah, but, I wouldn't say I necessarily have a fear of it.
No. But yeah, I've kind of just thought about that in the past, in years past, thinking about that. Like, oh man, there's so many awesome things happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Better take care
like
of myself.
I think I definitely I don't want to miss anything, but I've always had the sense that life is just life is funny. Things change and things can happen, and you can't dwell on it or think about it, but you just keep going forward. And I'm just going to keep thinking more about what's coming than what could happen. So
what does Master Yoda say about this? Keep your mind here now. Something like that.
Yes. Yeah. Well, isn't that Qui-Gon said that, right? He said
Master Yoda says please be mindful of something else. That's
be
right.
Mindful of the future.
Qui-Gon says here now,
but not at the expense of the moment.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Yeah. So be mindful of your thoughts.
Yeah.
No, but we're definitely looking forward to everything that's coming, and we'll keep talking about it. Next week, we definitely going to dive more details into now that we both have finished from a certain point of view. There's a lot of stories in there that we want to talk about. So we'll do a full review of that next week. I've got to kind of refresh my memory of it. I just started Phasma. So Phasma is actually the last book for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm like thinking like, God, if I get done with this, what am I going to do? I've listened to all the other books, so I think the next novel is not coming out till the Thrawn book, I think, in next spring. So I'm gonna have to get caught up in the comics and stuff. But Phasma, I'd say it's right now it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm learning about where she came from and stuff like that. So this book happens before Force Awakens. So we'll see. Anyway, certain point of view next week. Of course, we'll talk about all the news and everything coming out. And and then next week will only be about 19 days.
Jeez, Pete.
From,
gosh.
I got to get the commentaries and stuff done. I will be releasing the Return of the Jedi commentary here shortly. And then we will be working on getting the Force Awakens commentary out to you leading up to the Last Jedi release in December with our buddy Cody Geiler.
Yes. Oh, looking forward to it.
Looking forward to that. All right. Thanks for checking us out. Of course, go to InsideTheForce.com to get us on all the social media channels and listen to our podcast and subscribe to iTunes, Stitcher Radio, TuneIn Radio, Google Play, or just listen to all the episodes right there on the website. Casey over there is at Kryptonian1138. I am at TCottingham21. Thanks for checking us out, guys. For Casey Cooley.
From here, you will witness the final destruction of the Alliance and the end of your insignificant rebellion. Blah.
Yeah. And also in the game, what was funny about that too was they keep being mentioned like this perfect plan that the Emperor had.
Yeah.
Like what could have went wrong, and again, what went wrong was the Ewoks.
Oh yeah.
I mean, right? That's
it.
That's the factor the Emperor didn't consider was Ewoks on Endor. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys. Appreciate everything you do for us, and we will be back next week. I'm getting so pumped for Jedi.
Yes. Jedi.
The Last Jedi. And we'll keep talking and come back next week and listen to us. He's Casey.
Goodbye, everybody.
I'm Dave. May the Force be with you.
Thank you for listening to Inside the Force, a Star Wars podcast hosted by David Cottingham and Casey Cooley. For more shows, additional content, articles, and the latest Star Wars news, please visit InsideTheForce.com. Inside the Force. For the Force, then all of us.